morning, everyone. We're going to make a quilt. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. We have a group today. We're going to make a quilt in a day, right?
Right.
Yeah, yay. Okay. And that's what it says in big letters, quilt in a day. This is the Cool Summer Porch. And just think, I was so cool, I couldn't take my jacket off today. But we thought, well, it's February, it's winter, and we'll just think summer, think warm for a day. And this is the quilt that we see on the cover is the quilt that's hanging on the wall, which you might recognize the fabric. It's the Zillian fabric. We did a whole series. It's great. The best part, you just get a layer cake and you make a few cuts and you put it all together. And this is one, I think Teresa made this one. Am I right? And then I made a couple. Actually, did I make 3 or 4? They were so, I know some of you made more than one. Julie, you made several. And this was this one really makes me think summer. And the fabric is called Sing Your Song. And just with those sunflowers and think a picnic with a checkered tablecloth. And then all the colors are just kind of fun. And now I'm a little bit frugal. I use my leftovers from the layer cake. There's 2-inch strips that are left over, so I didn't want to throw them away. I use them for the piece border.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and then let's see what else I made. Oh, this is my most recent one. And this fabric, yeah, you haven't seen this one yet. Thank you. Well, this is called, the name of this fabric is the Essence of Pearl. I just remember. But the fabric actually has little sparkles of silver all over it. Now this one also, I did have those leftover 2-inch strips, and I kind of laid them out for the piece border, and I said, nah, I don't think I want to use that. I just didn't do it. I'll just do a little simple strip.
That's beautiful though, like that.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, there's often in a layer cake you get 40 squares, and you just cut 8-inch squares on the diagonal, and then I put it together. Now this is the scrappy look, and I made the blocks with the light on one side, dark on the other, and then I laid it out trying to balance the colors. You know how you want your darks evenly distributed, and as I was doing it, it took me a day just to get the colors balanced. You know, well, I didn't want to have these too close together, so I did it. It took a whole day to lay it out. Guess what? I sewed it together the next day. I ripped some of them out and moved them. I was still moving them around. So instead of doing this scrappy thing, and I like actually with a layer cake, I was able to use 36 squares. This is 36 blocks. But with the scrappy, it takes me a while to plan. So I just said, oh, forget about that scrappy. I'm going to do a planned quilt. And this one, I planned it. So I love the way the colors flow together on a color wheel or the rainbow. So anyway, as I was saying, you see how the colors are all lined up diagonally, and then they just kind of flow together. And this is easy if you want to make your quilt any size. You can just do this diagonal setting. The other setting is done with sets of 4. And then this one also is planned. And this one is, yay, yeah. And this one is planned also. And I think my first instinct was on the log cabin. You've seen the setting with the barn raising. Well, this is kind of a diamond setting where we start out, and if you want to start out with your lattice, or these are the 11.5-inch strips, you can kind of start in the center with a diagonal, and then we have the next diagonal. And in the directions, this is called, let's see, fabric number 1, or the first diamond. This, and it's predominantly, you can see how the colors, I think of the analogous colors, have 2 colors that are adjacent on the color wheel, because you put, well, blues and turquoise are side by side, and then the next diamond is predominantly in the blue family, the next one, the third diamond, the purples, and then these are mainly greens, and then the corners. And I was thinking of, after I made it, it reminded me of a stained glass window, looking through a window out to a secret garden. So that's where the name came from. And guess what? You get to make one just like this today. Yay! Yeah, you have a kit already cut, ready to go. And let me show you. Yeah, I would like to introduce, did you know I have a sister? This is my sister, Eleanor Byrne.
Thank you.
Yay!
The tardy sister.
Well,
I have too much on my mind right now.
Are you mic'd?
I'm mic'd.
She's right. Oh, okay. Oh,
I'm
good.
professional.
Well, you just happened to walk in. I have a little job for you.
I figured.
You're going to sew today, and if you get your quilt done, you get to keep it.
Ooh,
okay?
Thank you.
So I'm going to show you what's in the kit. And this kit is just nice and new, all cut and ready to sew. And I'm going to show you this kit, and then I'm going to show you my kit, because mine's kind of messy because I was playing with it. But anyway, first thing, we have a cover sheet. And just for those of you at home, if you don't have this kit, you can cut your own kit. And you can get your own fabrics, or we have extra kits.
We actually have some to sell.
We
Call right now.
And we'll mail it to you. Yeah. But this is the cover sheet that you can see the layout of all the fabrics. And I will say, with the instructions, it talks about laying it out on your design wall. But since today we have 20 people in class, we don't have 20 design walls, I'm sorry. But you have this. You can use this, and you can just lay out your colors just the way they're shown on this sheet. So these are some of the other pieces. These are the lattice. These are the 8-inch. Oh, who wants to point? Do you want to point?
You want me
You're
to go
going
up
to be
here?
Vanna today.
Oh,
yeah.
I can.
Vanna's going to point.
So
Okay. These are 8-inch lattice.
right here.
And those are 8-inch blocks, just for your information. And then there's a whole stack of them. And then we have the longer, these are 11.5-inch. These are the block lattice. They go right between the two fabrics. And then we have all the colors, all cut. These are 8-inch squares, all cut. And I have a little job for you today. I don't know if you can handle it, but you have to just cut them right down the middle. And that's it. That's all the cutting you have to do, because your kit is ready to go. And oh, look, we have a rotary cutter and and this is what I suggest. This is our 12.5-inch square up ruler that you can use this to cut those diagonals. You can use it to square up your blocks. and then you use it as a little table, you know, to take your blocks from the cutting table to your sewing table. So that's what that's for. But let me just we'll just go through this stack here again. And these are all cut in the number that you need. This 2 squares makes the, well, when you cut them on the diagonal, you get your 4 corners. There you go, Vanna. 4. Very good. And then in each corner, and then moving to the next diamond, we have, these are predominantly greens. And I kind of learned something when I was making my blocks. I told you I have another stack. This one's a little bit, I've started cutting it, but well, let me just show you. On this green, the predominant color is the green, but every now and then you just get this big, beautiful purple flower, which sometimes it can kind of, I don't know if it bothers you when you cut it on the diagonal. Let me show you what happened on my block. It was supposed to be more in the green, but it had that big purple flower. So I learned a lesson from that when you cut it on the diagonal, if you kind of cut down the middle of the flower, then you don't get all that concentrated purple if you want to keep it more in the greens.
Do you want me to cut?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
I'll find something else for you to cut. Okay. Since she wants to cut.
So of that one, this round, you have a total of 6 because I counted. There's actually 12 triangles.
Good.
That was easy.
Good. So there are 6 of the second diamond, the third diamond, the purple's predominant. I think there's about 1, 2, there's 8. Yeah, there's 8. And then the blue diamond has
this one
6. And then the center has 4, yeah, which is 2 squares.
2 squares.
And just for your information, if you are cutting your own kit, it gives yardage is listed in the instructions on the cutting sheet, and it says 1/4 yard, which we can easily get. We only need 2 8-inch squares. Do you want me to show you how to cut, or I bet you already know how to do that, don't you? You can do that. Yeah, you just cut, you line up on the 8, trim 2 edges, turn it around, and then cut again. So that would be how to cut a square, and then to cut those lattice, we'll just do, and it's an 11-inch strip. I'm sorry, I said almost 11. It's 11.5 inch. And with this very handy shape cut ruler, we're just going to line it up with the line on the ruler, line up with the fabric, and then you just cut. Whoops, I better get over there. We'll just make our first cut on the 0. Do you want me to show you, or you all know how to do it, don't you? Yeah. First cut, you just put your rotary right in that slit, cut at 0, and then next is 1.5. 1.5.
1.5, and here's 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. We'll go and cut.
I'll do it from here.
Oh, you don't have to. You all know how to do it.
But I own a fabric store. We can get more fabric. Scary.
Okay, sorry. Okay. 1.5. And the important thing when you're using this shape cut, you don't want it to shift. So keep your hand close by, and you can move your hand as you move.
This is really tight. Yeah, move your hand along.
Yeah.
Did it look scary?
Oh,
Finger over it.
okay. I guess it's better one person job, so I can move my hand before she gets too close. Okay. Oh, Eleanor, you did very well.
Thank you.
See how
At this
fast-
angle, it was amazing.
I know, I'm impressed.
I got to see what
And
this is.
the only problem is these fabrics are folded in half. It's good, you can cut two at a time, but the problem is they are wrong sides together. And you have to separate them right side up. And the way I like to do it is I just kind of separate. I just kind of go separate the two pairs, and instead of flipping them one at a time, I just do the whole stack and then I flip the whole stack over. That for me works quick, doing it that way. And now they're all right side up. Great. Okay, so we got that done, and then let me just finish going through the kit. There are some borders cut. This is our framing strip. This is a 2-inch. You see the dark purple. And then the green is the binding.
The binding.
But I'm a little bit fancy. I like to do the magic binding. And you can do either just the regular binding with just the green, or the magic binding. So let's cut those squares. I know we're anxious to get started. So if you just start with the corners, and again, you just you can do two at a time, or as many as you can. These also are going to be wrong sides together, so you can cut them before you go right side, or you can do them at the same time. You can just flip them all right side up in the beginning, and then do your diagonal.
We lost our ruler.
I like to use the square up, or I know you.
Patty's used to using a flannel board, and you can't cut on a flannel board.
Oh, right.
And so you just pretend to cut so you can use the piece over and over again, right?
Well, I can't talk and sew at the same time.
Oh.
I can't cut and sew at the same time. So, but let me just give you another alternative. If you don't have this ruler, I like the 14-inch ruler too, because that's a good length for cutting. You don't want to use that long, awkward 24-inch ruler. So, okay, so if you want to cut it, we kind of traded places, because normally I cut, you sew, but anyway. So anyway, once these are cut, then you can just stack them. Just set them aside, continue through the stack, get your greens cut on the diagonal, and then we'll set those aside. And what's my next color? Purple. Yeah, are you following? Yeah, we'll cut the purples on the diagonal and just lay those out. And the next set, the blues. And we'll set that along the set. And then finally the 4 triangles for the center. So now we're ready to go, almost ready to sew, but we want to do our layout. And I'm going to take my square up, and you can take that stack of 11.5-inch strips and just, now we're ready. Yeah, we're ready to do row 1, and you can also point on the
Okay,
board.
thank
Yeah,
you.
Vanna, thank you.
I'm useful.
You're doing so well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so, but we want to stack them from the bottom up.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Because if we start sewing at the top and go to the bottom, they're already in order. So I know you all can't see this from where you're sitting,
I
but
think Eric is.
Eric's
on it.
good. Okay, and also again, you can reference your cover sheet. So I want you to think of each block as a left side and a right side. To the left of the strip, we have this
number
color.
1.
Yeah, this really, it's kind of a pretty soft fabric. So we'll start with that one. And then on the right, we have green. And then continue next block on the left.
Green.
Yeah, we start with the left side. And then on the right, we have a purple. Left is purple. Yeah, and then on the right, we have
Purple.
blue.
Oops. Purple.
I got it, blue on the right.
Okay, right.
Okay, and then the next block,
The same thing.
yeah, that's on the right side.
The left side.
It's a blue. Uh-oh. Careful, did I get 2?
Ooh.
Up, one at a time. And then the left side, purple. And then next block we have left, it's a purple. Right is green. Left, left. Okay, thank you. See, you were listening. And then on the top block, we have left and a right.
And left. There you go.
Left
Okay.
and left.
Right, oh, right and left. Okay, okay. You got it. Don't listen to me, just look at her. Okay. All right, so.
Don't look at me.
Okay,
I'm
Elle.
dyslexic.
Elle's gonna sew this. And
Can I just sew one of them?
yeah,
Okay.
just start at the top, and she's gonna flip the triangle. Oh, are you doing it like that?
Okay, is that what you want?
No, we do the right side first.
I have
well,
to
you
look
could
at
do
the
it. You could do it either way.
I have to look at the pattern
Okay.
with those pictures.
Okay. Well, if you do, that's a good idea. Okay. Let me grab a pattern here.
So they just line up at the top and the bottom.
Yeah, do you see that strip is just the perfect length? And let me find, the directions are on page 7, actually 6 and 7. We're gonna actually follow page, if you look on page 6. Oh yeah, that's instructions, and it's also these are the generic directions for making this block. And she's got the triangle on top, and she's gonna sew the full length.
A perfect quarter.
Perfect. Do not use a generous 1/4 inch because your blocks will be too small to square up. And then she can just keep on going. You know Eleanor, she never stops. She just keeps going. Here's the next pair.
So you line up the tip of the block edge, the bottom with the top edge.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The tip lines up with the top. Tip top. Yeah. And then if when you're doing this at your machine, you're going to just continue with that entire stack, and you're going to do all 6 in a row. And I think, do you want to keep going?
And
or?
then I just pretend that I did all 6.
Pretend. Okay. So we're going to
Okay.
pretend.
We're going to pretend.
Teresa, would you like to help us with the pressing? You're really good at that. Okay. So, yeah, and you can cut them apart, but yeah, go ahead.
But I would just
Clip
leave
them
all,
apart.
all connected.
And you actually press with the triangle on top.
Oh, so it goes towards that triangle?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
see? I need to see.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
need to look at the book
We have
too.
to follow, sometimes we have to follow directions. Yeah, yeah.
Always we have to follow directions.
It presses toward, and then, you know, Elle, can you have her keep pressing? But there's something that I want to tell you that's very important.
Yep, triangle on top.
Yeah, press with the triangle on top.
Okay.
And the next, well, she's going to do the other side. But the one thing that I want to point out that's very important is you want to keep these pieces in order. It's for obvious reasons. If you do that entire set of 6 blocks, do one side, clip them apart, and stack them in that same order. And then we'll add the opposite side. But the good news about this quilt, whether you start at this end or start at the opposite end, they're identical, they're mirror image. Can you all see that?
Okay.
Because if you stack them with this on the bottom, this is on the top, then you can start with this on top and you'll get this will be the bottom.
Okay. So Therese, I've added the second side. Teresa's
Oh, okay.
pressing it.
Okay.
And so now you can show them how to square it up.
Okay, good.
And then they
would-
can go sew.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Wow.
She's giving you a good lesson. You can't make a mistake, right?
Okay. Are you anxious to get started?
I can see myself getting these out of order.
Oh, you can get them out. Well, if you clip them apart, stack them, keep them in order, square them up, always in that order, and then they'll just come out perfect. Okay, so our squaring size is 8 inches, and what you want to do is, I find that the first thing I do is I kind of eyeball that diagonal line down the center of the white strip. And you know, I used to mark the center so it would be perfectly on center, but then I realized these points, they don't even touch each other. So it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter if they're perfectly in the center. So I just eyeball it. I just say, well, that looks like it's down the center. And then we'll check the outside edge. You want to have a little sliver hanging over the edges. And then we'll just trim 2 edges. And then turn the trimmed edge to the inside. Place the trimmed edge on the 8-inch line on the ruler. And then we'll do the 2 remaining. Boy, your blade is sharp, Elle. I like that. And I close
That's
it.
my endurance blade.
Wow. Okay. So that's what we're going to do to start out. And then when you get it all done, you can stack them in this order. And then put a label. We'll try to get some labels. I put row 1.
And
Oh, lay
show
it out. You want to lay it out right there.
No, I just want to show them so
Okay.
they can see right there. See?
Okay.
But this is a little different.
I
Oh,
know.
that's the bottom.
That was
then.
that was that green fabric that
Are you
had.
sure that's the way you want me to
Well,
lay them?
yeah, that was
Okay.
that green fabric had this big, beautiful purple flower, and I didn't realize
I
it until I put it together. That's why I'm suggesting if you do come up with something that's a little bit off, I might give you another piece of fabric if you don't like it. I have a little bit extra.
So I have a great idea.
Good.
Why don't we let these people go and sew?
Okay.
And let the people at home go and sew, and then bring them all back together for the next step.
Good idea.
This is such an exciting moment. We have an announcement to make. How many people got their blocks all done? Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
But some of you, how many more do you have to do? A couple of you.
Four.
Four.
She only has
She's
4.
almost ready. And Ginger, how many do you have to do?
About 8.
8. Okay, well
This is the advantage. You guys are sitting in this class and nobody has interrupted you or called you on the phone or made you cook dinner, and poor people out there watching, huh? All those interruptions. Great.
yeah, and we didn't have to do any dishes or any cooking. Our lunch was here. Okay.
It was fun.
All right.
Okay, what do you got to tell us, Pat?
Well, I went ahead and I laid out the blocks in rows with our next step, the lattice. Whoops,
I think it's
excuse me.
beautiful.
Yeah, you like it?
Well, I loved looking at everybody working on it, and everything was coordinated in the room. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, and all those vivid colors. That's
Yeah.
what I love about this
Really.
fabric. And but I did lay out, these are the 8-inch lattice that we're going to line them up between each block, and we're going to sew the vertical rows first.
Yeah.
And we're going to stack them in order. So this one, we're going to start with the, actually, you know what? I'm going to start at the bottom.
There you go.
That makes sense, right?
This is row 1.
Okay, row 1.
Row 1.
We're going to be flipping these to the left, and we're going to stack them in the sewing order. So if we want to start sewing at the top, that means we stack from the bottom up. So
Right.
I would just flip, and
Am I get to be the carrier?
oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I have a special job, very important
forget
job.
it. I lost my
Remember
job.
that little table we
Yes,
have?
here's my table.
Okay. You know, there's a really nice design board that we have at Quilt in a Day, or you might have one of your own. They're 14-inch blocks. They're like, what's nice about them
I'm looking to
is
see.
the fabrics don't slip off. Sometimes you have to be careful if you have them all stacked.
We need
and-
Teresa to run and get it.
Oh,
I don't sit here.
I did ask Faith. Okay, so we're ready to go.
Perfect.
And I'm going to let you do the sewing.
You know, Teresa and I did just work on a similar technique just like this in the sewing room together a little bit ago. And I ended up with 4 12.5-inch square rulers in the process. She was laughing at me.
Oh, wow.
She only
4.
needed 1.
Oh, okay.
So my stiletto is going to come in handy right now, right?
Okay, all right.
And I'm just going to slide this. We're good. Okay, so you just pick up the top one. You made it very easy for me. And just line it up at the top. And it's a 1/4-inch seam. And sometimes I like to use a jumper scrap, especially if it's on the point, but right now this is just the straight edge, so it's just gonna grab right in there, except that you should probably have your needle threaded. Of course. Okay, so carry on, Patricia, while I
okay.
get my needle threaded.
Okay. Well, there's one thing I could do while you're doing that. I could get the next row ready, and it's just going to be every strip in the row we'll just stack them up, and then they're ready for the next row. But while she's doing that,
I had to take my
I'm
glasses
going to
off. I
plan
can't
ahead.
see.
I'm going to start with the lattice. These we call the horizontal lattice, and these are cornerstones and 8-inch strips, and some of them you might not see them because they're white, so they blend right in with the lattice. But some of these are different colors. I just wanted to give it just a little extra color. And in your kit, you will find 9 squares, which are several different colors.
I can't see the hole.
Oh, poor L.
I can't see the hole.
These are so handy, and they, after you use them a while, they get really kind of a lot of threads, but that's okay. They still work fine.
Lint roller on it.
I use a lint roller. Yeah, you just clean it up and lay your next quilt on it. And then we can even keep going with the next row. And if you have little labels, you can write, this is row number 3 on it. I'm just going to keep stacking them up here. Just kidding. I'm not going to make you work too hard, so I'm going to come over here and show you. There is a strip for all those little squares that you can't really see, but they're all in there. The white squares, we'll get all the squares from one strip. And then again, go back to your, we're going to use this cutter. And you can get, let's see. We're going to start with the edge of the fabric on the line. I'm going to move it up to the next line. And then, you know what, Elle, you did really well from that other side, but can we get this in the...
Oh, no, don't do it that way. Here, I'll just let Julie thread the needle and stand up.
Okay, all right.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay, so we
Oh,
are...
you did it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, see if I can find the hole. Oh,
You
man.
have to start in the little keyhole.
Okay, and are we making 2.5? 1.5?
1.5. Yeah,
Okay,
and
1.5.
then 3.
3. This is a new board, and it is really
3,
3,
4.5.
4.5. And 6, and how many am I counting?
Just do the whole thing.
Oh, fine.
All right.
7.5. 9.
You can stop now.
Thank you.
Because,
Just when I was getting good.
well, you know
Did
what?
you get it, Julie? Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Oh my gosh, it sucks when you're and when you get old. Trust me, it sucks. You can't even see.
So if you get everything stacked and then you keep on sewing.
Yeah, yay! That's how you sew.
And guess what? Julie,
And now, Julie.
fast forward. And this,
Wow, Julie's on
Julie,
Woo, pop around here, Julie. And you have your famous line.
So it actually is a quilt in a day.
Yes. And did
But-
you do it before lunch?
Oh,
Or?
I did this much in about an hour and a half, so I will be done.
but let me,
Today.
wait, I don't need this mic. Okay, Julie. Now I want you to tell everybody, how many times have you made the summer porch?
Oh, a couple. So I was a little faster because I'd done it before, but everyone looks different, so I love
They
it.
do, and
Thank
thank
you.
you. But,
Thank you.
But Julie, can we press it?
Can we what it?
Can we press it? We're just going
Okay.
to keep on going.
Okay,
I know.
just keep on going.
Yeah, we're going to get rid of that. And here, we're going to press to the lattice. To the lattice.
Are you going into the lattice
Well,
now?
read the directions.
Read the directions.
I
Oh
got
my gosh.
I got so excited.
So,
First to the
okay.
line 10.
I turn the page.
21. Page 10.
Page 10.
Page 10. No, we're further past that.
Page 21. Number 17. 10.
Press seams toward lattice.
Oh, thank God.
Number 17. When in doubt, read the book.
Okay.
Press the seams. I am now on page 12.
Oh, 12.
Page 12, and it says, press the seam toward the lattice.
Yes.
And usually I like to press in the direction to the lattice from the wrong side, and then sometimes you get little creases in the seams, so I often go back and press directly into that seam, and it just makes it look nice. And then,
That looks really good.
does that look good? Okay.
Yes, beautiful.
Okay, so the next
pressing.
step, we're going to clip them apart. And do you have a
Don't buy a machine just before class.
A pair of scissors.
scissors, or do you want to use the little
Oh, here we've got.
gizmo? We could do that. So this is the first row. Oh, do we need to take all that down? I think we do. Is that what you were referring?
Oh,
Okay.
no. Okay. Well,
What would you like me to do that, and you can? Oh, are you doing?
well, I was just trying
You
to
could do that. Yeah.
get it ready
Get
for
it all.
sewing.
Okay, we'll stack these.
Okay, how about
rows.
maybe we should take the next one down? We were doing really good, then we ate lunch and fell apart.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
That's in order. This is my quilt. And now we will take the next one and stack it in order. No use doing it wrong the next time.
That's right. You're going to have this done before dinner. Okay.
I'm not going to eat dinner until
Okay.
I'm done.
All righty.
Thank you.
Okay.
For you. Okay, now we're good.
So the horizontal rows will include those little cornerstones. And did you
Do you want them?
notice
Do you want these
these are
cute
8
little things?
inches, and then the cornerstones are 1.5. Thank you. And if you you can look at your picture on the cover sheet, or we can look at this quilt,
And now,
and we're going to put.
I want to know why I cut all those other white ones.
Oh,
What? She made me cut 1.5-inch white squares.
See in the middle there.
they go between. They go right
Oh.
here. They're in there. You just can't see them.
Oh, where did they go? They're under here or something. I got them.
Okay.
Right here by you, Patty.
We're
Yeah,
turning-
I did a whole stack. Well, I did them last night, so don't worry.
Okay, you have plenty.
We're turning into a comedy show now, Patty.
Comedy of errors, I think. Yeah,
Well, if people laugh, you live longer, so laugh a lot.
that's right. That's right.
Okay, so I get it.
And then the next row, we have this first, and then if you have, we'll put a little
here.
blue one.
Here's your blue.
The little blue
I have a
one
little
here.
blue one.
Now-
So it's light blue.
Now, I
light.
will say this is an opportunity if you want to be creative. You can add more colors, You can do them all white. That's the best part about making a quilt. You can make it unique and do whatever you like. You might want to change the colors. Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. Here, you do those.
I already did.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Now, if we had all the rows pressed and ready to lay out, we could chain sew them. Where's our little board?
I'm too afraid to sit down again.
Oh,
Bad luck today.
is that?
Here is our
here's
little board.
And we can do a small chain, but you can visualize if you wanted to do the whole quilt, you could stack all these pieces for the first row. The second row would have these pieces, and then we would make them all at one time. But we're just going to do it very quickly. We hope.
Am I going to do it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm going to let you start. Are you ready?
I'm going to tell you something funny. You know that Patty travels all around the country, and this is what she told the ladies, that everybody knows they see my face here on the TV show, right? Yes. But she said it was really her hands coming up from underneath sewing the pieces.
I forgot about that. I did tell people that.
You did. I feel like I wish your hands were coming up now.
I did used to tell that story, yeah.
And they believed you.
I forgot.
So
yeah.
we're always tattletelling on each other, but everybody, they love to come and tell us back what the other one said.
Yeah.
They love that. Okay, so I'm going to try it one more time, huh? Okay,
Try
I'm going to
again.
hold on my thread. I'm going to close my eyes just in case. Okay, I started it. Now I'm assembly line sewing this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and this is what I'm doing. Okay.
And then you're going to stop because if we had all of the rows ready, then we would keep going. But you're just going to do.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's just like I did, sewed the whole way down.
And then we're
from
going
top to
to
bottom.
add the
Okay.
next pair of squares
Oh, I got
Okay.
it.
like that.
All right. I got it. So we're doing all of these little horizontal rows for all of them right
Yeah,
now.
the whole length of the row.
Okay, I got it.
And which way do you press those?
That is, that's something you won't find in the directions because if you remember correctly, I'm the naughty sister.
Yes.
I don't follow directions all the time because the directions will tell you to use a solid strip on the horizontal rows. And I thought I wanted little cornerstones. For me, it's easier to match the blocks if I have something to match up. So this is just another way that you can do it. Yeah, this is not in the directions. So pay attention. Okay.
I want to show you how good I sewed.
Oh,
It came unthreaded again.
oh no.
I'm going home.
Oh well.
Incapable today of doing that.
Do we want to, would you like to go back and sew?
So do we have anything else to tell them?
No, I think we'll just keep doing, as we saw, keep pressing toward the lattice. And then when you get all those little squares sewn, then you also press toward the lattice. So when you sew this row, to the lattice, the seams will lock.
I see.
Okay, get it? Press to these go out, these go in.
I'm so glad I had a cup of coffee. I'm ready to finish this. Are you guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yay! And take it, Patricia.
Okay, now I have to tell you that unfortunately nobody got their quilt all finished and all quilted and ready for binding. Binding, this is the magic binding. If you look at the edge, there is a narrow, we call the flange, and then the green binding is the wider. No, it's narrower, which is kind of not what you'd expect. The wider strip makes the narrow flange,
Right.
and that is cut at 1 3/4 inches, and then the binding green is cut at 1 1/2.
Right.
And the two strips, sew them together, press toward the binding fabric,
Very important.
press in half, and then Eleanor, would you like to show us how to
I
put your
would.
binding on?
I would. So the reason that the flange is really the wider strip is because it starts on the back side and comes around to the front. So you have to have more of that fabric because it's covering more territory. Okay, so I have to figure out. Let's see. Let's call this the back, okay? This looks like the back and this looks like the front, huh? Is that okay?
Except, will that narrow black, will the purples show up?
Forget it.
Okay.
That's the back.
Okay,
This is the back.
okay,
And that's the front.
okay.
Just so we can show off the flange binding. Okay, I have this really cool strip that's going to go all around the outside edge. And this is the hardest part. This is the really tricky part. You have to start on the back, okay? Remember, you start on the back, and this feels really weird. But you start on the back. I have my walking foot on, and I just put it at 3.0 stitch length. And when I start, I'm just going to start right up here. And leave that end because I always sew those ends together in the very end. Okay, so I'm just going to start right here. It is a little bit wider than a 1/4 inch seam, and I really do like it just a little wider. Okay, so we're going to start right up here in the middle of longer stitch. And can you get me a pin, Patty? I need a pin. Just take it right
Do you
off
have
the
a
wall.
color preference?
Just take it right off the wall.
Found a pink one.
Okay, that's a good one.
Okay. Oh, that one's bad.
You can't trust any of ours. Just
They're
give me
all
any pin.
crooked.
They're all crooked.
Boy, that's
Okay.
that's bad. I found a straight one.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is all that I wanted to pin for. I like to stop 1/4 inch from the end, okay? So here is the end, and I'm just going to take this straight pin and put it right in.
Like a needle.
You see that? Okay. So now I'm just going to keep on going up to that pin, that straight pin, and stop. And then you just raise your foot, you turn, and you stitch right off of that corner on the 45-degree angle, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're just going to show Eric, and he can see how good that looks.
Looks good.
Right, looks good. So now, watch this. You can take out your pin because you fold it straight up on that angle. Fold it straight up on the angle, and you could go ahead and crease it a little bit and then fold it straight back down. And this part, I think people sometimes do not give it enough ease, enough fabric in there. They might just really pull it too tight, kind of like this, you know, and then it'll never work. So line up that fold exactly with the top edge. It's all lined up completely along the top edge. Okay, good. And so we're rolling, we're rocking and a rolling. We got our pin, we got our walking foot on. Okay, and now we're just going to do exactly the same thing. Just stitch down to the opposite corner and repeat it. But now I've shown you enough, right? Okay, so we've got one corner, we've got a side here. So now comes the magic. Okay, take it out, and you just take this, open it up. Ooh, look at that. You see the beginning of it. Okay, flip it over. Oh, I might need more pins, Patty.
Uh-oh.
That's scary. Okay, so watch. You just take this and you just fold it over. Now it's on the front side, right? Now it's on the front side, and now is when I usually pin it, but there are so many things. I have these little clippies that I love that work really good. But anyhow, I'm just going to stick a pin. I do not know what Teresa made this backing out of, but it is the hardest stuff. This is live, you know. Okay, so now when I'm going out to the edge, see, you just really crease that right off of there. I put another pin right there. See that flange in there? Okay, and now you keep this tucked in, fold it on the diagonal. Ooh, oh, is that nice? Whoa, do you see that? Look at that. So you want to keep that flange lined up right in that little spot. And that's the way it lays around the corner, and you just keep on going with that. That looks really nice, huh? Okay, so can you find me one more pin?
Okay. Hey, do you need some purple?
I bet you're getting me clamps.
I
Now
bet-
you brought me pins.
Oh.
Because they need fine pins.
You're not kidding.
Oh, Teresa rescued
These are the orange and the green heads. These are my favorite pins. Let's see if they slip in. Oh, like butter. You know what? I used to use these yellow-headed pins all the time when I was young and I didn't know better. And I used to, these slip in so much easier.
I think you called them the lemon flavored.
Yes, this is my act, the lemon flavored pins. And I made people test them like this. And run their teeth through.
Ooh.
The truth is, it wasn't a taste, but it was the smoothness, no bumps on it. But now they're considerably fatter than these beautiful green ones. You can visually see the difference, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
you're
the
right,
pin.
Teresa. And she was trying to blame you. Yeah.
I was trying to blame you. Okay, so now we're getting it pinned in like nothing, like butter.
Yeah.
Okay, and the best part is you can finish this by machine. I would pick a purple that matches the flange and do a stitch in the ditch technique. That is just so easy to do. So you just want to line up your foot, put in your purple thread, but I am just going to use that white so you will see it. Okay, and now put your needle down and let's see if I can get it right in there. Whoop. Let me see. Is it going down? Is it going down? There. It's right in there. You can't see it, but I can. It's right in there. It's right in the flange. And just continuous, go nice and slow. And just stitch in the ditch right around. This is the best thing. I think that's why everybody likes the flange, because you can do this whole binding by machine. One more stitch. Needle down and just let it pivot. Ah, can you see? Eric can see just a little bit. Okay, I've got this great green pin right in there, and then just keep on going. All right, what do you think?
Yeah.
Is that great or not?
But
Okay.
if you realize that the purple fabric is not in your kit, if you do want to do the magic binding, you would need 5 strips, 1 3/4. So it'd be about 1/4 of a yard or 1/3 of a yard.
Right. Really
To
good.
do that.
Okay.
Oh,
Eric,
that
you
looks
get-
good.
Doesn't it?
Wow. Wait, you all have to come up and see it after. It's good. Yeah, it's really good.
So where's it neat on the back?
Oh, okay.
That's the crucial.
It is. You can see it, but you should go ahead and put something that matches the binding. Okay. On the top matches the flange.
Okay.
In the bobbin matches the binding on the back side.
Because it hits right in that ditch.
Yeah, and it could, if you match it all up, then nobody's ever going to see if it goes a little crooked. What's important is the front side. So I think, Patty, we should just tell a little bit about the quilting. I think we should go in. Okay, you know,
Oh.
Patty and I both quilt with the company credit card. We just can't. We
Yeah.
just don't have time. But I would just like you to go really close, Eric, just to show how beautiful our long arm quilter did one of the long arm designs. I'm sure this is a computerized design right through here. Who quilted this?
I'm pretty sure it's Amy.
Amy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Amy
that's
Potter.
that's a nice thing when you have a white border. But this is quite simple. It's like crosshatch going down the narrow lattice, and that is just amazing. They're little almost diamonds that are going point to point across there. They are going on the diagonal. They are going on the straight. And then right in the middle of the block is a beautiful big open flower. So it looks really nice.
Can we check the back and see?
The back.
See if it shows up in the back.
Oh,
yeah, there
my
you go.
goodness. Look
Oh,
how
perfect.
beautiful. You can really see the flowers
Do you
on
want
the
me
back.
to raise it up higher? Or
Yeah.
Is that high enough for all
It's
of you?
high
You can
enough.
all see that?
So you can see the design in the border going the whole way around. Here's the little cross stitch, little diamonds going up and down, and then the big flower. This is pretty amazing.
I like
Amy
that.
actually divided half of the flower on one side of the lattice and the other flower on the
Yeah.
opposite side.
Yeah, and then there's this little scallopy.
It's just
Yeah.
so cute. Oh, look
Oh.
at this. This
Cute.
is really fun. Just a way of holding down all of the outside edges.
Okay.
Beautiful. So, what do you think?
I think it's great.
I think it's great. Thank you. A little bit of summer here in February.